Which month is the best month in order to see a shooting star? It happens to be December. I'm 5 News Chief Meteorologist Matt Standers. We want to let you know what you can expect to see in the night sky for the darkest month of the year. December's last month of the year in the calendar, but it's also the darkest month. We've got the winter solstice taking place December 21st. That is where we have the longest night and the shortest day. Best window in order to see the night sky. However, let's go chronologically. We've got some shooting stars to talk about, some of the best for the year, but let's start with the full moon. The full moon is going to take place December 7th. We call it the full cold moon. The cold moon was coined by the Mohawk Indians first, up north and to the east. So now we call it the cold moon. Very fitting, right? Because by this time, the snowpack in Canada and the ice pack in the Arctic really start sending some powerful cold fronts southbound. A lot of times in November you can recover. December is a little bit trickier. Sometimes you can get back to some 60s, but usually you crash down very quickly afterwards. It's hard to keep some of the warm air across the central United States for very long. But we've already had the harvest moon. We've already had the beaver moon. Most of the animals, if they hibernate, are starting to hibernate now, or if they don't hibernate, they're just keeping a low profile because the colder air is here. But it peaks. Got the full moon coming up December 7th. A week later, take a look towards the skies for the chance to see a shooting star. We look for the Geminids meteor shower. You got to find the constellation Gemini, the two twins. You see them? They're kind of like stick figures on their side. We've got one right here. If you look at its head right here, and then you got a stick figure with the two legs, and then it looks like they're holding hands. You got another stick figure on its side with the two legs as well. So you've got the pair of twins, the twins there. The Gemini constellation is a really great viewing only in the winter time, but the shooting stars will peak December 14th. We're actually looking for a meteor called Pantheon. It's 3200 Pantheon that travels about 80,000 miles per hour across the sky. So these shooting stars are going to be rocketing across the night sky. But the Geminid meteor shower is considered to be one of the best meteor showers that we have all year. And that's just really going off of how many meteors that we could see, how many shooting stars that you could see per hour. Many locations across the U.S., as long as you don't have the clouds, could see more than 100 shooting stars per hour. Now, there are some catches here. There are some problems with December because, first off, it's cold, right? So not a lot of folks want to be out necessarily looking at the shooting stars. And if you live north of the Gulf Coast, you got a lot of clouds. December tends to be a pretty cloudy month as we've got a lot of fronts moving on through. It's a very active time as the jet stream has pushed towards the south. We get a lot of systems. So yeah, you may have a great shooting star display across the sky, but there tend to be just a lot of clouds across the U.S. Now, if you live closer to the Gulf Coast, it's a little bit of a drier season, especially in Florida. They've got the Sunshine State. December tends to be one of the driest months of the year and sunniest and clearest times of the year. Great time to see some of those shooting stars. But it peaks December 14th. What's also really nice about December is that the skies aren't so hazy. We've got some great meteor shower displays in the summer, but a lot of times it can get hazy in the sky and it's kind of hard to see. One problem though this year will be the proximity of the peak to the full moon. You want to get that moon to be almost a new moon. You don't want any light, and the new moon can, or the full moon can sometimes illuminate the sky a little bit too much. That full moon takes place about a week in advance of the peak of the meteor shower, so we're still going to have a fairly bright moon. It won't be full, but it will still be pretty bright. But we have to look towards Gemini in order to see where the shooting stars are. That's why you get the Geminids meteor shower. It's all about the radiant. The radiant is where generally the shooting stars look like they're coming from. So let's talk about where to look. You want to look in that eastern sky right after sunset. That's where Gemini comes up right above the horizon just as soon as the sun sets. You want to look directly east. You want to get into a location that's dark, away from city lights. You don't want a forest right in your way too, so you can only look up, but you want to try to get a clear viewing in that eastern sky. By midnight, it's going to be right above your head, and then right before sunrise, it'll be in the western sky. So it's going to do a full arc right above you. To be honest, if you kind of just at least look up, you're probably going to see some shooting stars. What's cool about the Geminids meteor shower too is that technically it's already started, but it peaks December 14th. If you can't view it December 14th, whether it's just too late at night, it's too cold, or you got too many clouds, don't worry. You got about a week or two, maybe sometimes even close to 3 weeks in order to see some of the shooting stars, but it will peak with the 120 meteors per hour December 14th. So if you want to see a shooting star, December happens to be one of the best months because the Geminids meteor shower is one of the best annual chances in order to catch a shooting star and to make a wish.